watching last week, you might have seen a report by the Whitbread Prize-winning author Amanda Foreman. She argued passionately against abolishing the upper house.
The peers aren't just a loose end to be tidied up. They are fundamentally integrated into our body politic. And if you start slicing it up into parts, you are in fact injuring the whole.
Well, that so enraged the singer Billy Bragg that he sent us this furious fax. What is it with Amanda Foreman, he asked. Does she only speak to toffs? Lend me a camera crew for the afternoon and I'll demonstrate to your viewers that the tradition of dissent in this country runs much deeper than the tradition of deference. So he did, and he went off to the Museum of London.
Tradition is the last refuge of the anal, and the England that those defenders of the House of Lords wish to preserve can best be found in museum bookshops like this. We sell them to tourists. What the defenders of the Lords seem unable to accept is that we live in a multicultural society in which there are many diverse traditions, and against this backdrop, the Lords have a place not in government, but in history. The continuity that the noblemen wish to preserve is that of their own built-in majority in the upper house. And they have the gall to declare that they will not go until they're satisfied with what we will replace them with. When you move into a new home, you don't let the people who lived there before tell you which wallpaper to hang, do you? The idea that somehow the future of the Church of England and the monarchy are tied to that of the fate of the Lords is positively medieval. Both these institutions have shown themselves to be quite capable of adapting to our modern society. 350 years ago next week, on the 30th of January 1649, Charles I was beheaded outside the banqueting house in Whitehall. 6 weeks later, the Lords itself was abolished by a majority vote in the Parliament of Oliver Cromwell. But this abolition done in haste proved to be a mistake, and when Cromwell died, the monarchy was restored, and with it, the House of Lords. This is a contemporary list of those who are present in the reformed House of Lords, and amongst them here is Richard Lord Onslow. Now, I know for a fact that Onslow got his title, he was on the parliamentary side during the Civil War, and he turned up at the local nobleman's house with a troop of parliamentary horse and demanded that the owner of this house sell him the house, the title and the land for £1. And when the owner refused, he ordered his troop to draw their swords and sharpen them, and subsequently he was able to purchase for £1 a title, the land, a beautiful house, and his descendant still sits in the House of Lords today. Elsewhere in England, others took the opportunities thrown up by the Civil War to enact their own ideas of land reform. The diggers took over some waste ground at St George's Hill in Weybridge in Surrey and attempted to build a self-sufficient community there. One of the radical aspirations of the English Revolution was the removal of what they referred to as the Norman yoke. This is based upon the idea that before 1066, the Anglo-Saxons lived as free men governing themselves. The Norman conquest deprived them of this liberty and established an alien tyranny of feudalism. In this, they were echoing the demands of the barons at Runnymede, who asked of King John that he restore the free rights of men as they were in the time of Edward the Confessor. All the way back to Magna Carta, there is a continuity of dissent and reform in this country that continues to frame the aspirations of modern-day campaigners. The poll tax riots of 1990 find their echo in the Peasants' Revolt. Charter 88 takes its name in part from the Chartist movement. And the Common Sense Club hope this year to erect a statue to Thomas Paine somewhere in his home country.
We work, we eat together, we need no swords. We will not bow to the masters or pay rent. To the Lords we are free men, though we are poor. You diggers all stand up for glory, stand up now.
Only just last weekend, a group of land reformers gathered in London under the banner of Diggers 350 to discuss and celebrate the events of 1649. Whilst their lordships encourage deference to custom and practice, it is this rival tradition of initiation that has brought progressive change to our society. Personally, I'm opposed to the idea of replacing the present House of Lords with another bunch of government nominees. In fact, I'm not even sure we need an upper house at all. This doesn't necessarily mean we have to abandon the bicameral system of government, merely that what replaces it doesn't have to exactly replicate the present institution. Here in the Journal of the Commons is a record of the last time we tried to abolish their lordships back in 1649. If we are to remove them once and for all from our political process, would it not be possible to transfer the very important job of revising government legislation to the proposed regional assemblies in England and to the national assemblies in Scotland and Wales? Such a decentralisation of power would offer the benefits of devolution to the English shires, and with a little bit of imagination and perhaps some proportional representation as well, it could invigorate local politics by giving a voice to the marginalised regions alongside that of the metropolitan elite.
You poor take courage, you rich take care. This earth was made a common treasury for everyone to share, all things in common, all people one. We come in peace, the orders came to cut them down.
Billy Bragg and many of tomorrow morning's front pages
Kicked off.